Hello, welcome to episode 16 of Baking Bread.li. In the last one, we were setting up Travis CI, and I got it sorted. Managed to sort it in the end, and additionally, I got the build passing badge just here to work correctly. Before it was saying unknown, so I could put it in, but it was just saying build unknown, and I didn't understand why. And after a little bit of chatting with Travis on Twitter and a couple of other people, it turned out that it only does builds like when you push, as opposed to doing pull requests. And I thought pull request was initiate the badge to say passing or not passing. Whereas what actually happened is whenever I do a pull request, it was just like testing it and saying, oh yeah, it passed, but it wasn't saying build passing. So what I did was I went into settings here on Travis and then turned on build pushes and turned that on here. And that means that every time I push to the master or to GitHub pages, it will do a build, and it will build it and say passing or not passing, and it will then say it here. I also had to add to my Travis file. If we go in here, I had to turn off notifications in here. There's not like you get an email every time Travis successfully builds something on a push, because I was pushing to master, and one of them they're one of the whitelisted. That's one of the whitelisted branches. It was notifying me every time that the build had passed. So it obviously means that I shouldn't be pushing to master, but because this is a small project, it's not really a problem. Maybe if there was people doing multiple, like branching off the master and then merging it into develop, then an email might be not so kind of annoying, but it was doing it every time I pushed up to it. So there isn't a setting in here for email notifications, but there is in the actual YAML file, which is interesting. So it's like you can almost do the bare minimum in Travis, and then everything's set up via the file in your project, your Travis file. So I just turned off email notifications, but maybe there's other things for notifications, because it is like there's like a parent item there, and then you've got email within it. So yeah, we're gonna move on with the building of the site, and I thought the next best thing to do is to get a sitemap going. Like we could start building like boxes and things like that, but we don't know what actually like page wise is going to be in the site. And I would like to know for myself like what the pages are going to be, where's stuff going to be, and set some put some lines in the sand, so to speak, on what will be made and what won't be made and things like that. It's like I don't want to give myself a massive list of going, oh, I could do this, I could put that in there, and all sorts of kind of things. It would be better to just put a certain amount of things that go, right, I can do that and I can do that, and then I'll be able to achieve that small amount, which is like the minimum the website needs in order for it to work and be something usable and possibly useful to other people. So yes, let's get on with that. So let's close Travis, and I've created an issue. I was about to go into issues in here, but I should be going in here, I guess. So we've got create basic site map. So number 43 issue. I know I should have made this as a pull request, but it's just me working. Maybe if it was like something larger, then I would do a pull request of a different branch. Anyway, So yes, so I've got like home here as a main page. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see. So home is the home page, so that won't be in the navigation. I try my best to avoid having home in the navigation because it just, one, it doesn't look great, and two, when do you ever want to return to the home page unless it's got specific content on it, which shouldn't really be true. I guess maybe we should have an all section. Anyway, I'm going off on tangent. Sorry. So yes, languages. Oh, as I've said before, maybe a couple of times, not in recent videos, but the intention for Bread.li or Bread.li is to be a directory site of CMSs. So just like a massive catalog of them, and I've kind of seen a lot as I've been going through, and just lots of different systems that you can use to edit a site with. Like you can plug it into a site, then you have a site running, and you can do that. So there's anything from like really rudimentary stuff, well, not rudimentary, but like basic coding technique with Jekyll. So that's kind of got CMS properties in it, right the way through to something that's already kind of like packaged and branded and everything like that, like WordPress.com or Tumblr or something like that. There's so many different avenues in order to build a website. There's so many different systems to base it off that I just wanted to make a massive catalog of the ones that I've seen and get them somewhere so people can find out a little bit more about them, as much info on them. And I've not really seen other sites do that well. Like I don't think I've seen ones where it's done PHP and things like that, but they don't really kind of list every CMS out there. So this is what I want the site to do, and these are the pages that I've listed out for it so far. So we've got languages, so what coding languages they would be based upon. Frameworks, so that would be like let's say Laravel. Like that's a framework that's based on PHP. So we could then have all the Laravel CMSs that are available. Type, so that could be e-commerce or blog or simple page one, like a couple of pages, or one pager. That's almost like it's like a term now. And blog, which is the blog. And I haven't put anything else. So these weren't set in stone. I literally just wrote these a moment ago. And I thought, well, these are a good starting point. Then we can flesh out the site map from there. And yes, well, the great thing about what we've got now is it's so basic. Is we can just like throw some stuff together and we'll have some pages already running, and we can just work out things from there. So we can write notes on pages. So we can literally use our repository to work out how our site's going to be built without actually needing to put content in. I guess this is the kind of difference between doing this as a client job and doing it for yourself. You can kind of be really kind of brutal with how you're working and just go, right, well, let's just put some notes on that page and notes on that page and say, well, this page would be languages and this will be frameworks, and then work out whether they should be called that or whether we need more pages or less pages. Right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to let's make these pages. Let's make these pages. I'm going to start with this way round, with making them using Jekyll, and you're going to see how this works in kind of Jekyll, in the Jekyll kind of way. So what we're going to do is we're going to get to our Bread.li site. Well, we don't want the site directory. We want to make a new directory. We want to make one called _data. Now this is one that I've just made up, and it comes from what I've seen on the Jekyll website, on jekylrb.com. This is what they use, and I think it's been emulated by other people, because the term data is what it's going to be. It's going to be data related to the website, like information on things that can be picked up, and it's like a little bit more detailed than what's in the cancel. We should probably set this so it opens with Coda always. So it's going to work a little bit like our config file, with a bit of with information inside it on how to on how to do stuff. Let's keep it simple. So we're going to put another YAML file inside data. So let's create a new file. So this will be our new file. So I'll just save this now. And what I can do is I can drag in data like that, and then it will pick it out. And we're going to call this navigation. No, we're just going to call it nav. We're just going to call it nav to keep it nice and short and sweet for now. We can change it later if needs be. So this is nav. Let me just check the time. 10 minutes. Zoom in along. So nav is a YAML file that's going to store our page information. So what we've got here is we've got our pages. So what we need to do is we need to state where this is going to be. I'm going to put this navigation in the header. So now I've shown before how to do YAML files, so we're going to kind of emulate this listing method, if you see here. So we're going to go header, and we'll put a comment saying our header navigation, and we're just going to list out our header navigation items. So header navigation, and then we'll do so languages, frameworks, types or type, blog. So let's leave it at that. Okay. So we've got let's say an object. I'll try and read this out as like JavaScript style. So header is our object, and then within that object we've got an array of items. So that's languages, frameworks, type, and blog. And so we can pick that information out. So let's entail this a little bit more. Let's try and sorry, this is just getting to my mind on how we do this. Do. So I think what we do now is then we can start doing this. We can start putting more information into our items. So what we could do is then we can put like a sub thing in here. So that, I think that's how that works. Ooh, this gets interesting when it's kind of like, we don't want the hyphenation because it's no longer a single item anymore. So let's change this to title. So we've got title, and then we've got languages. Okay, and then we've got, dear, let's just rewind this. I've made that far too complicated. So let's change these to list items like that. And then these are titles. So title, title. Okay. So now what we need to additionally put is URL. And this will be languages. And we'll put another URL for this title. And that will be, save ourselves a bit of time. So if you can see what I've done, if I do some extra separations here, you can see that I've listed everything, but now I've put like objects to them. I've put like each item that's indented has got its own title and then a URL. And while we don't have it in here, if we look at our Travis file and that email notifications thing, you see how we've got notifications and then we've got email as like an item within notifications, and then that has a value to it as well. So you can like multi-level this stuff. You can see the same there. So you've got environment and then global, and then you've got one item under there. So you could have like another thing like local or something like that. Like you can really kind of go down deep into it. So we've got title and URL. So let's capitalize these. So now we've got a title and a URL, and they're all in header. I'm just going to take these returns out so it kind of closes everything up a bit. Now, this is all good. This is like a nice list. This is like what we've got over here. But what do we do with it? But what we can do is we can actually loop through this data. We can do a little bit like what we've done before, or what I've mentioned before, and put information in it like we have done with, like we could do with config. Where am I going with this? I'm not talking very well. This is it. This is some spontaneous video. Okay, well, what we can do is we can loop through that data with the liquid language and create elements with it. We can create structure with it. So now we've got that YAML file. I'm going to get the server running. I'm going to get our Jekyll installation going, and that was bundle exec Jekyll serve and then watch. He's got it. There we go. So now we've got the server running. So let's swap this out for localhost. Nothing has changed. Okie doke. Oh, I've got the favicons going a bit funny there. Probably because of other stuff I'm running on that server or on that port number. So all we've got on the home page is this. And that is being created from layouts and default. Whoops. Should remember this opens in here. And this is what's constructing that. That's all that's there. So what we need to do is we need to create another include, another partial, shall we say. And at the minute, all we're doing is we're using layouts, and then other layouts are hijacking other layouts. So what we need to do is we need to create an include. So let's create a new folder and call it _ includes. They're very creative. And I'm going to create another new file, and this is going to be our header file, and it's just going to be called header.html, and we shall put that in includes. And then what we can do is then we'll put in header, and then we'll put class header, and then we'll close it off, and then I'll go h2 for now. Hello, I'm the header. Cool. So now what we can do is we can then bring that in. So let's bring that in inside our container so it stays in the same width. So what we do is we do, I think, we don't do the double braces, we do brackets and then ampersands instead, because we're going to be bringing in an element. And I believe what we did before in blog, oh, we didn't, but we did do a loop in the blog. We used these for logic in Liquid. So what we're going to do in the default, we're going to do include dot header dot html. So we can do that, and then if we refresh this, oh, he's got an error. Include file. Unknown tag includes. Do I not need to do include? Oh. Include header. That's like include is an actual operation, it's an actual method, not dot. I'm thinking of the next step, which we'll come to in a moment. So refresh this. Hello, I'm the header. So that's the header. And yes, so now we can include pieces of HTML. And the reason I was doing the dot method is because of if we had the blog open again, we were doing site.posts. So we were doing site.posts, so we were going into the site and then looking for the posts in the site. So that's what I was thinking of. But luckily this actually works out for what I'm going to do next in the header. I'm sorry, this is so like all over the place, but I am doing this on the fly, so I'm not like reading from notes or anything like that. I'm doing this from memory and then trying to like explain it as I go along. And the only reason I'm doing it patronizing way is the only way I can think of doing it. So I hope it doesn't come off as patronizing. Anyway, so 4 posts in site.posts. Well, we don't want that. We don't want the posts. We want that data in that YAML file. So let me end 4 there. So we want to look for item in site dot data dot nav dot header, and let's just do hi. So hopefully what this will do is for each item inside site data nav.yaml, which is there, header. And because we've got header in there, that's one of the items in nav. So what it will do is hopefully hi will be printed out 4 times. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? So let's see what that does. Hi. That only does it twice. So why is that? Why is it saying hi twice? Well, what we could do... It's only saying hi twice. Well, let's do item dot... Let's do item dot title. So we're going to try and spit out the title from those items. Yeah, you see, that's not working. That's not right, is it? For item in site data nav header. Let's try that. No. For items? No. We're gonna have to look. We're gonna have to look on the Jekyll site and like work it out from there. See, because they got a data, then docs.yaml. Oh, they've got like... Oh. So maybe we need to be a bit more... So header is our item. Header is our item. And then within header... Oh, we've got like weird formatting. Yes, we've got weird formatting. These are items within... So these are our items. So this is an item. And then within that item is an item, an item, an item, an item. So hopefully this will work. No. No, that's incorrect. How are we doing for time? 28 minutes. Okay. Let's think about this. So we've got header as our singular item. And they've got like a title next to it. No, but that can't be... How have I done it on mine? If I go on github.com, then go BaseKit, and then docs. I've got a data file as well. See, that was how I did it, where it was the hyphens on each of the items, like that. And then I've got, I haven't got that. Oh dear. That, oh no, I had that before, didn't I? Let's do it the clever way. So we've got title and URL. And then includes header. Oops, we've got it in another file. We've got it in this one. Yeah, this is for item in site data nav. Is it nav.yaml header end for item title. Oh, there we go. What did I do? What did I do? Maybe I just had the wrong indentation. I've got these all itemized, but then I indented them. I had the double space trickery going on foolishly. Okay, well they're items within it, so that's a rule that I've forgotten to adhere by. YAML files are very strict on indentation. The two spaces mean a lot, and the hyphens also mean a lot when it's like a list of items, when it's going to be multiple items within there. So these are marking it off a bit like how you do it in Markdown. So if you do a dash, then that's going to be a list item. And then if you do a double space under it, then that's a relationship to it. So these are all listed under it, but we've hyphenated them to mark them off as they've got multiple attributes to them. So we've got that is like the signification of an item, and then those attributes are one is title and two is URL. So that's how you say an item without saying an item. So let's go back to our header file and close blog, close default, close config. So we've got languages, frameworks, type, blog. And we've got item title, and then what we can do is then spit out item URL. Boom. So we've got them spitting out both. So now what you could do is then do ahref and put in item URL into here, and then put item title here. And let's get rid of our hello message. There we go. We've got like a navigation thing going on here. And then what you can do is then I could add in more items. So I could do title latest, and then do a new URL and put slash latest. And if we just refresh that, there we go, latest. So, like, upon review on this, yes, it is a little bit kind of fiddly and quite technical in terms of constructing stuff and doing it. But once it's there, it can be edited quite easily. It's just the groundwork that's a little bit of hassle. You can see it being a kind of nice, it's like a nice way for developers to work, because they can go, oh, right, great, well, I can just write in all my items and away I go. Whereas a traditional CMS, you can see where stuff is and you can just get on with like the purpose of putting content in rather than making the fields almost. It's certainly a different way of working. I like it, but I can see why some of you may be looking at this and going, God, that's a bit technical. He seems to be getting stuck on loads of it. You go, yeah, you're right. It is quite technical. But it's the kind of the drawbacks of doing it this way. So I can understand your concerns for maybe using this technique. But anyway, we shall continue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in an li list and indent it like so. Do that, and then we'll put a UL around this, so I can like do some list formatting, like so. And then we'll put class nav I'm just going to put nav, yeah. And then I'm going to put, whoops, class nav item. No, that's not BEM. That's not the BEM way. That's the BEM way. Maybe I should talk about BEM in something at some point. So yeah, so we've got some stuff going on. List items seem to be formatted without the list item styles, which is interesting. Maybe because did I reset them in the... Yes, I reset them in the styles file, didn't I? That's fine. So now, right, the next bit, we go, oh well, these don't blooming link anywhere. So we need to create a new file, and I will just do a new markdown file, and I'll put hi there, and I will do our double sets of dashes, and I'll use the layout default and just put hi there with a title, and then we'll call this languages, and we'll put that in the root. And then if we go to languages, it breaks. Have I spelled languages correctly? Languages? Maybe it's languages.html and it's not like doing the permalinks correctly. Yes, there we go. Languages. So we need to sort that out on why that's doing that .html. Why is it doing .html on the pages? Let's go to documentation and go into permalinks. So permalink style examples. No, these may only apply to posts, not pages. Not pages, collections, or static files. For example, Pretty changes the permalinks from path, base name, output, ext, to page, base name. If the page is HTML, thus prettifying the page permalink. The date and none all do that. Well, I know for a fact that I can do permalink in here and just call this languages. Then we go back. And it works. Cool. So you go back to here, go to languages, it's languages. So yeah, you can put permalink straight into the thing, because this is like mini version of the config file. It's just like extra data, but relative to this file alone. Yes, we need to document this and then make a page structure. So what I'm going to do is change this. I'm going to change this GitHub issue. I'm going to change this to construct, if I can spell, construct basic sitemap and purposes for those pages. Oh, no. Construct basic sitemap. So I'll say that as construct basic sitemap, and then need to establish pages and what they contain. So, and this discussion is welcome. Comment. So what I would do is I'll keep this issue open for now. I'm going to commit this stuff. I'm not going to push it up. I'm not going to push it up just yet. I may push this into a separate branch called page structure or something. In fact, let's do that. So what we can do is we can cancel this. We can then do git checkout -b, and then we can do site structure. So this will be the branch, and what I'll do is I'll commit all this stuff, and I shall push it to a remote site structure repo and a remote site structure branch on Bread.li, and link it in the link it up in this discussion here. And then people, if you want to discuss on what the sitemap should be for this website, then comment in here, and I will be just commenting like on my own accord on what pages should be on the site and how it should be constructed. And hopefully we can get something where it's good enough to press on with, and we're not just making pages for the sake of making pages. I would really like it that if they're pages that they have a purpose on the website, they're not just gumph. The only one I'm looking at the site structure now. I'm just looking at these things, and the only two that I know have got substance is the homepage and the blog. And the only reason the homepage has got any substance to it is because it's the base URL, and then the blog has got all these videos on it. So that's the only two things that are actually got substance to them at the minute. The other stuff is just up in the air. So we need to find out what we need and what we don't have to create yet. Anyway, we shall leave it there at 43 minutes. Hopefully this was interesting to you, and if you are watching, thank you. If you're not watching, you won't hear this. Thanks for watching if you are, but I'm kind of doing these partly for myself so I can get used to doing recordings and just documenting my stuff. So, maybe one day this is actually a little bit useful to somebody, or even just me as notes. So thanks, and I will see you in the next video.